in our methodology, we love to use what we call the gut healing protocol as an early intervention because we see improving digestive function as really, really critical and as a strong foundation to grow from. Talk to us about the gut healing protocol.
As you mentioned, the gut healing protocol is really to improve one's gut health with the aim to then improve systemic health, because we know that gut health is integral to how the rest of the body is functioning. And if you don't have a good, healthy gut, then it's really going to affect your micronutrient absorption, it's going to affect protein, also your macronutrient absorption, protein, carbohydrates, fats. That's going to impact on energy production, it's going to affect how kind of the rest of the inflammatory processes are happening in the body. I spoke about leaky gut earlier, and if there is a leaky gut, that's going to allow kind of food, proteins and toxins to enter our bloodstream and create inflammation. So as kind of one of the very early things that we'll implement is the gut healing protocol. So essentially what we're doing is removing some food triggers that may exacerbate a leaky gut. So we know that, for example, there are kind of certain kind of gluten proteins, dairy proteins that may affect the integrity of the gut barrier if it's compromised already. Now, if you've got a strong intact gut barrier, then most people can tolerate gluten, dairy, fine. But if there is any kind of damage to the integrity of the gut barrier, we find that actually removing those foods from the diet for a short period, kind of looking at probably about a month, can really help improve and heal the gut lining. In addition to that, we're thinking about what supplements can actually help repair the lining of the gut. So we have a fantastic supplement called GI Revive, which essentially is giving all the right nutrients that are going to repair the cells essentially lining the gut wall. Also then thinking about how we can support digestion during this. So digestive enzymes, another common supplement that we'll prescribe during the gut healing protocol, and probiotics. So probiotics to really help rebalance the flora of the gut microbiome. We know that certain kind of toxic bacterial species can produce endotoxins that actually further damage the gut barrier. And so again, by replacing the good bacteria into our gut microbiome, we're reducing those bad bacteria that could potentially be further damaging the gut wall. And then lastly, good quality protein powder, because essentially protein is fundamental to any healing journey that we undertake. And so making sure we've got adequate protein on board during this process is really key. And so with our gut healing protocol, we'll give lots of great smoothie recipes to be able to incorporate that protein into smoothies once a day, and also other recipe meal plan ideas that will allow you to stay off the gluten and dairy during that month and kind of make that a bit more straightforward. Now, some people, I do find they may need to give up some other foods as well to really encourage gut repair, but that's normally done on a personalized basis. So every kind of, even though it is technically called a protocol, everything we do is personalized to the patient. So we'll always have a consultation first and then recommend the supplements based on the kind of needs and kind of concerns the patient has.
We've seen the vast impact that working in this way, the digestion first way, has on energy, vitality, immunity, inflammation, hormonal balance as well. And so that's why we like to go there first. We also know that everyone has, over time, gut dysfunction because the environment and the foods that we have are very toxic. They're sprayed with preservatives, the soil that they're grown have herbicides and pesticides. And so all of these additional synthetic chemicals break down the integrity of our gut lining as well. So, and the other thing to bear in mind is that we drive immune responses to things that we're overexposed to. And we grew up on cow's milk, and on Hovis bread, right? Jam sandwiches. And so common things are common. As we get exposed to more things over time, we drive more of an immune response. So if you give the digestive tract a little rest from those common things while you repair the gut junctions, 10 out of 10 patients find an improvement very, very quickly. And that's why we've made this a central part of our methodology. Tell us about the additional the finger prick test that we're introducing with the gut healing box, which we're excited to be launching early 2024.
So we're launching a fantastic gut barrier panel, kind of the first of its kind really, because there isn't really that great a test out there that's really looking for a leaky gut or being able to, we're not able to really diagnose a leaky gut. We assume one has it based on their symptoms and their presentation. With this gut barrier panel, we can really test for this now. So we're looking at certain markers that may indicate the increased likelihood of there being a leaky gut present. So LPS is one of those markers.
What's LPS?
So LPS stands for lipopolysaccharides. So I mentioned the endotoxin that's produced by certain bacterial species. So LPS is one of those endotoxins.
Okay.
And so
when you say endotoxins, why are they toxic? What do they go on to do?
So they go on to cause inflammation and they cause damage, and they create this kind of oxidative stress within the environment. So oxidative stress is where essentially we're creating stress within the cell, within our mitochondria. So it's further damaging the cell wall, damaging our mitochondria, affecting our cell's ability to produce energy, or ATP. And we know that ATP is our life force when it comes to cellular health. And we need our mitochondria to be functioning well in order to produce ATP. If we're having oxidative stress, we're damaging our mitochondria directly and therefore affecting our ability to produce ATP or energy. And over time, this oxidative stress damages cells. It can lead to even kind of precancerous cell formation. It eventually can be a point of no return when it comes to cellular damage and DNA damage. And so what we want to do is reduce oxidative stress, but at the same time, look at ways of actually reducing it. So thinking about the antioxidant nutrients, thinking about kind of all the lovely, colourful fruits, vegetables that we can have in our diet that are kind of filled with polyphenols, that are natural antioxidants, but also thinking about supplement antioxidants as well, and therapies.
So it measures LPS. Anything else that it measures?
We're also looking at Candida. So we spoke at length about fungal overgrowth. Fungi can damage our gut barrier. So we're looking for the presence of Candida antibodies. We're also looking at something called zonulin. So zonulin is the kind of tight junction, essentially. It's one of those proteins that are keeping the cells together. And we know that if zonulin is if that's broken down, that is a sign of leaky gut, because you're breaking down those tight junctions between the cells. And so if you can measure zonulin, and if it's elevated, then that's often a sign that there could be a leaky gut present. There is evidence to show that, for example, gluten can be a direct kind of damaging factor to zonulin proteins. So it's really good that we can measure that on the gut barrier.
Zonulin, LPS, Candida fungi as well.
Yes.
And is there occludin as well on the test?
Occludin as well.
Okay,
yes.
so occludin is another protein?
Another protein, another tight junction protein. So again, a fantastic measure of whether there's leaky gut.
So, we believe in digestive health as being so important that we've developed this test as part of this gut healing box. And in the program that we're launching early 2024, we're making this type of medicine more accessible. Okay, so start with this gut healing box, which will be a finger prick test, will contain a functional nutrition consultation. So once you get the results of that, you'll speak to our nutritionist. They'll prescribe you the right gut healing box of supplements and nutrition strategy, and start to experience health differently.